Chapter 110, It's Not Enough. Once Shi Yankang died, his guards immediately went crazy and charged into the crowd to kill them without any care. However, it was a pity that they were not 6th-grade martial artists and did not have protective true energy to protect themselves. Faced with the continuous close-range shots of the crossbow arrows and the siege of more than 10 large-caliber firearms, they were soon seriously injured and subsequently died. After everyone was dealt with, the remaining members of the Stone Annihilation Alliance quickly cleaned up the battlefield and collected the corpses of their companions before sending them to the crematorium. The injured followed the fleet of cars to head in another direction. Su Jingxing saw this and left the mountain. He came to the crossroads to extract cards. Especially that from Shi Yankang. The moment he extracted the card, he read the information. After confirming that it was a bloodline card, he put it into his palm space. Then, he used his lightness skill to chase after the fleet where the injured members of the Stone Annihilation Alliance were with. He followed behind them at a distance. The fleet headed straight to the north of the city, entered the factory area in the suburbs, and drove into an underground warehouse. Su Jingxing pushed his speed to the fastest and followed closely behind the cars. He flashed past the entrance and entered the spacious and bright underground space. The fleet came to a stop. There were already people waiting, pulling the carts and sending all the injured to treatment. An oval-faced woman took off her hood and met the others. She asked seriously, "How was it? Did you tell that person about the ambush? Tell him that we have already killed Shi Yankang." "I already sent a message, but the legend didn't reply." Responding to her was a round-faced girl. "That expert should still be at the scene, right?" A youth with messy hair scratched his head and said, "If he really came to watch." "I'm just afraid he didn't." A youth with a buzz cut sighed at the side. "Qianchen, did you guys notice anything abnormal with the surroundings before the ambush?" A middle-aged woman wearing glasses pushed her glasses up her nose and asked. "No." The girl with the oval face shook her head. "We arrived half an hour earlier to ambush them. We didn't find anything." "In that case, that person didn't go at all. He lied to us." A man in his 30s, who was missing an ear, became agitated. He waved his hands and shouted, "He's lying to us. He wants us to kill Shi Yankang. Now that Shi Yankang is dead, more than 20 of us have also died. Even Elder Huang is seriously injured, yet he's not even showing his face. What is this? What is this? Enough, Gan Jicheng." A shout of rebuke rang out, and a middle-aged man with a scar on his face frowned. "Regardless of whether that person went or not, killing Shi Yankang this time is a huge victory for us. Yes, our alliance is called Stone Annihilation. Before this, we have not killed a single member of the Shi family. We can finally call ourselves an actual alliance this time." The messy-haired young man grinned. "Yes, we have. But the price is too high." The bespectacled middle-aged woman sighed lightly. "There is a price for everything we do. Killing Shi Yankang this time is just the beginning. Next, we will continue to have operations and more people will die," the oval-faced woman said seriously. "What I'm most afraid of is not death, but becoming useless with death." Then, what about that person?" The man called Gan Jicheng opened his mouth and gritted his teeth. "Wasn't that person asking for a proof of allegiance? Now that we've fulfilled it, he's not showing himself. What's going on? Are we going to continue communicating online? He'll be commanding from behind while we charge ahead." "You. What do you want?" Su Jingxing's calm voice sounded, interrupting the oval-faced woman who wanted to speak. The latter's body stiffened, and the middle-aged man with the scar on his face also trembled. The others didn't notice anything. They just felt that Gan Jicheng was being a little too angry. "Jicheng, that's enough." The messy-haired young man frowned. "It's not a matter of whether it's enough or not. It's that that person has a clear disregard of us. He has been looking down on us all this time." Gan Jicheng waved his hands and shouted agitatedly, "I admit that he's very powerful. He can destroy a secret base of the Shi family by himself and even use the internet to suppress the Shi family, leaving them trapped in public opinion and unable to extricate themselves. But this doesn't mean that he can disregard us. This time, with just one sentence from him, we have sacrificed the lives of more than 20 people. What about next time? How many people will die next time? Now that Shi Yankang is dead, the Shi family will definitely go crazy. Every one of us will suffer the Shi family's revenge subsequently. Yet he's hiding in the dark and won't even show himself. On what basis? On what basis? Just because he is in the 4th grade. Since it's a collaboration. Enough." The oval-faced woman took a deep breath and interrupted with a low growl. "It's not enough. Gan Jicheng waved his hand and continued to yell, since it's a collaboration, then he should make his identity clear. This is the basic problem of attitude. Now our people have died, shouldn't he at least show his face? Shut it. The middle-aged man with a scar on his face gritted his teeth. It's fine. Let him continue. Su Jingxing was still calm as he spoke. There were always some people who couldn't read the situation clearly and couldn't be in the proper state of mind. The sooner such a person was recognized, the less trouble they would have. However, after speaking twice, the others finally reacted and turned to look at Su Jingxing, who had appeared out of nowhere. Wearing a cloak and a mask, his voice deliberately was changed as he stood in a corner against the wall and looked at them silently. In that instant, everyone's hearts skipped a beat and their breathing stopped. Gan Jicheng's legs trembled uncontrollably. He dared to complain in private, but he would never dare to do so in front of a fourth-grade expert. Most importantly, when did Su Jingxing appear? When did he come in? If Su Jingxing hadn't spoken, no one would have noticed. For a moment, the place fell into dead silence. Why aren't you saying anything? Continue. Su Jingxing maintained his low and hoarse voice and said, continue, it's fine. Thump. Gan Jicheng couldn't hold on any longer. His legs turned to jelly, and he collapsed to the ground. He opened his mouth as if he wanted to say something, but no words came out. Senior, he just has a loose tongue. He doesn't mean anything else. The messy-haired young man swallowed his saliva and laughed dryly. Then, without waiting for Su Jingxing's reply, he said excitedly, "Oh right, Senior, your IT skills are amazing. You're like a god. Oh, no, on the internet, you're a god. Yes, Senior, do you want something to drink? We have everything here. Do you want to go sit over there?" The oval-faced woman also helped to change the topic, though her excuse was a terrible one. Su Jingxing did not respond. He glanced at the two of them, and then at Gan Jicheng. As he stared, he walked towards him. "Senior." The oval-faced woman opened her mouth, wanting to stop him. Swoosh. In a flash, Su Jingxing covered a dozen meters and arrived in front of Gan Jicheng. Then, he reached out, grabbed and lifted him up. "No. Senior, hold on. Jicheng, hurry up and apologize." Quote. The group panicked, crying out, shouting and begging for mercy. Su Jingxing ignored them all. He held Gan Jicheng in one hand and pulled a button off his collar with the other. He fiddled with it in his hand and sized it up before tossing it to the oval-faced woman behind him. Gan Jicheng, who was in his other hand, was thrown back to the ground and ignored. After the oval-faced woman caught the button and checked it, her expression turned extremely grim. The others saw this and closed their mouths. No matter how stupid they were, they understood that Su Jingxing wasn't looking for trouble with Gan Jicheng, but had discovered that there was something wrong with him. Sister Qian, the round-faced girl urged. "It's a camera." The oval-faced woman took a deep breath and said in a low voice, "And a tapping device. FCK. Kill him. Gan Jicheng, I'll kill you." Quote. Everyone's eyes turned red. A few men rushed over and surrounded Gan Jicheng, punching and kicking him. "Ah!" Gan Jicheng screamed in pain. He hugged his head and rolled on the ground. As he rolled, he shouted, "I didn't betray the alliance, I'm not a traitor. How dare you continue to speak? Kill him." When the people who were kicking and beating him heard this, they became even more furious and used even more strength. With two cracks, they broke Gan Jicheng's arms and legs. "Ah!" Gan Jicheng howled in pain and his voice became hoarse. "I'm really not a traitor. The people behind the camera aren't the Shi family, it's the Li family. I just want to have a route of retreat. Is there anything wrong with that? The Li family have said that if our plan fails, they can protect us. I found a way out for everyone. Was that wrong?" In the end, Gan Jicheng's face was filled with grief and indignance, as if he had suffered a great grievance. Su Jingxing was speechless. This guy was either mad or brainwashed by the Li family. No matter what it was fortunate that he had discovered it early. Earlier, when Su Jingxing had appeared in front of Gan Jicheng and the others, he had immediately sensed that someone was spying on them. After his soul power had increased, his intuition had become sharper. At first, Su Jingxing had thought that the cameras in the corners had locked onto him. However, upon closer inspection, he discovered that the feeling was not only from the corner but also the crowd. That was strange. They were already face to face, so why was there a need to spy? As a result, when he probed deeper, he discovered that the spying sensation came from Gan Jicheng. Combined with Gan Jicheng's shouts, Su Jingxing walked towards him. As expected, when he moved closer, he found his target. A disguised button camera. Oh, and a tapping device. With Gan Jicheng's cooperation, it was unknown how long the Stone Annihilation Alliance had been monitored by the Li family. This was also the reason why the oval-faced woman and company were furious after they realized what he had done. Not only was there a traitor among them, this traitor was also constantly helping others to keep watch on them. At the thought their every move was being watched and listened to by the Li family each time Gan Jicheng appeared, the oval-faced woman and company could not help but feel their scalps tingle and their backs turn cold. "I'm sorry, Senior." The oval-faced woman was the first to regain her composure. As she crushed the button, she bowed to Su Jingxing and said gratefully, "Thank you, Senior, for helping us find the traitor." "Thank you, Senior." The others followed closely behind, bowing and thanking him in unison. "Is there any place that he doesn't know?" Su Jingxing asked coolly. Even though he did not mention names, everyone knew who he was referring to. "Yes." The oval-faced woman stood up and took a deep breath. "Senior, please follow me." Then, she led the way in front and rushed towards the main entrance. Su Jingxing followed in silence. Quick, we can't stay here any longer. Everyone, retreat immediately. Cripple this fellow. FCK, I treated him as a brother in vain. Fortunately, Senior discovered him in time. Otherwise, we wouldn't even know when we would be wiped out. Yeah. Quote. All kinds of shouts came from behind. Su Jingxing listened to them and shook his head slightly. The Stone Annihilation Alliance was called an alliance, but its sense of organization was not very strict. It was fine for ordinary people and martial artists to move together, but the division of labor also seemed to be unclear. That was laughable. It would be a miracle that their self-examination was strict if the division of labor was not clear. If it weren't for the fact that the following plan required a lot of manpower, Su Jingxing really didn't want to work with them. Without saying a word, he followed the oval-faced woman out of the underground warehouse and took a car to the university town. They stopped in the backyard of a bar on the corner of the university town. After that, they made several turns in an alley and entered a secluded small courtyard. After entering the courtyard, they passed through a secret passage and arrived in a spacious room that was completely sealed. "Senior, please take a seat first. The others will be here soon." "Oh yes, my name is Shen Qian." The oval-faced woman smiled at Su Jingxing and then walked towards the small room on the right side of the office to get the tea set. Su Jingxing scanned the entire room and activated his secret ability, Advanced Hearing, to listen to the movements within a range of 100 meters. Indeed, the surroundings of this secret room were very quiet. "Senior, please have some tea." Shen Qian brought the tea out and placed it on a table beside Su Jingxing. Then, she rubbed her hands and stood aside, not knowing what to say. "How many martial artists do you have?" Su Jingxing asked in a low voice. Shen Qian heaved a sigh of relief and replied, "We have 47 martial artists. Among them, one is in 6th grade, 5 are in 7th grade, 12 are in 8th grade, and the rest are in 9th grade. Without waiting for Su Jingxing to probe further, she continued, "Although there aren't many martial artists, the rest of us can still play a significant role. Surveillance, spying, infiltration, entering the Shi family's business, following beside the Shi family descendants. Also, designing weapons and explosives, doctors, teachers, promoters, and more. Our people are present in all the industries." Good. Su Jingxing was as calm as ever. It was good to have many people. With the plan that he wanted to execute, the more people participating, the better. Quote. Shen Qian opened her mouth but did not dare to ask the question. Su Jingxing didn't want to speak, so she could only shut up. Fortunately, they didn't have to wait long before the other core members of the Stone Annihilation Alliance arrived. "This is Xiao Chengyu." Shen Qian pointed at the young man with messy hair and introduced. "This is Zhang Tianao." Shen Qian pointed at the middle-aged man with a scar on his face. "This is Zhang Jun, the man with the beard. This is Mao Xiaomao, the round-faced girl. This is Yang Sijing, the bespectacled middle-aged woman." Shen Qian introduced them one by one. Finally, she pointed at a young man with long hair with a long sword on his back. His expression was aloof. "This is Yi Zhuchang." After the introductions of more than 40 people were done, Shen Qian looked at Su Jingxing. Other than the injured elder Huang Ya, as well as the other dozen who have gone overseas, all the martial artists in the alliance are here. Su Jingxing nodded. He glanced at everyone and spoke calmly. I know everyone is curious about what the next step is. I'm not going to waste my breath. Duel. Duel. What does that mean? Everyone stared at one another. However, they did not dare to ask any questions and remained silent. Su Jingxing saw this and went straight to the point. I wonder if any of you have heard of the Lin family. Silence. Shen Qian, Zhang Tianao, and Xiao Chengyu and the others were still dumbfounded. Are you referring to the Lin family from 30 years ago? Zhang Jun touched his chin and asked. Yes. Su Jingxing looked at him and said calmly, 30 years ago, the biggest faction in the Western District was not the Shi family, but the Lin family. Although the Lin family was not as powerful and domineering as the Shi family today, they still dominated the Western District for many years. However, they disappeared overnight. Do you know the reason? This, Zhang Jun touched his chin and fell into deep thought. I've heard of the Lin family. They were very powerful back then, but I really don't have any impression of how they disappeared. I know. Zhang Tianao raised his hand and his eyes lit up. I remember now. That's right. 30 years ago, the Lin family didn't disappear suddenly. They were killed by the Shi family. What? The rest were shocked. Brother Tianao, give us more details. What exactly happened? That's right. Wasn't the Lin family the biggest faction back then? How did they get wiped out by the Shi family? Quote. Everyone was puzzled and asked. Zhang Tianao didn't answer immediately. Instead, he looked at Su Jingxing. Su Jingxing gestured for him to explain. Only then did Zhang Tianao let out a breath. Taking a deep breath, he said seriously, the Lin family wasn't exterminated. Instead, they suffered heavy casualties during a duel with the Shi family. There was no way for them to continue subsequently, so they disappeared overnight. In fact, there should still be people from the Lin family who are alive. However, if nothing else had happened, they probably are doing worse than ordinary people. Without the protection of the family clan, it's unknown how many people are still alive. As for the duel, the full name is called Family Clan Duel. It's just like a battle between martial artists. If they are unable to resolve the conflict between them, they have no choice but to enter the arena and engage in a fight of life and death. The Family Clan Duel is the same. However, it is crueler. It is a large-scale fight to the death that can only be held between two family clans. The commander of city governance of the Martial Suppression Office will personally act as the referee. Each family will send out one person to fight in the arena. Those who die will lie down. Those who are still alive can leave, or they can continue to challenge the next person. There is no limit to how many matches they can continuously participate in. In any case, a total of 100 matches will have to be completed. In other words, the two families that are involved have to submit 100 names before the start of the duel. For these 100 people, 70 have to be descendants while there are no rules for guest elders and guardians. In short, in the end, no matter who wins or loses, there will be heavy casualties. But for some reason, when the Lin family fought with the Shi family back then, the Lin family was wiped out and disappeared overnight. The Shi family did not suffer a huge loss. Instead, they used this opportunity to devour most of the Lin family's businesses and replace them to become the overlord of the Western District. After Zhang Tianao finished speaking, he revealed some shock in his expression. Needless to say, the others had their mouths agape in astonishment. It turned out that the Shi family's dominance of the Western District had come from a duel. A family clan duel, 100 battles to the death. Just how great of a grudge and grievance did they have to go through with that? Suddenly, Shen Qian thought of something and looked up at Su Jingxing in shock. She stuttered, Senior, you're thinking of. That's right, Su Jingxing interrupted. A duel. Back then, the Shi family defeated the Lin family and took their place. Then we can also use a duel to exterminate the Shi family. At the very least, we can make them suffer heavy casualties and crush their foundation. But you want to say that we are an alliance, not a family clan, so the Martial Suppression Office won't entertain us, right? Su Jingxing interrupted again. Shen Qian, Mao Xiaomao, Xiao Chengyu, and the others nodded hard. That's simple, Su Jingxing said calmly. I know where the remaining members of the Lin family are. If we find them and you pick 70 people to join the Lin family, the problem will be solved. Huh? Xiao Chengyu was stunned. He stuttered, Senior, are you saying that we have to change our surname to Lin? Is there a problem? Su Jingxing remained indifferent. In order to destroy the Shi family, you're not even afraid of death. Are you not even willing to change your surname? Shen Qian, Xiao Chengyu, and Zhang Tianao were speechless. The others watched in silence. That's right, if we aren't even afraid of death, what is changing our surname? At this thought, Xiao Chengyu's expression turned serious and he was about to agree. Wait. Zhang Jun suddenly said, changing our surnames and becoming a member of the Lin family isn't a problem. But, even if we change our surnames and step into the arena, how many people from the Shi family can we kill? That's right. Xiao Chengyu suddenly realized this. He shook his head and said, we're not afraid of death, but we know how strong we are. If we go up one by one and against members of the Shi family, 90% of us will be killed by them. In the end, the Shi family will still exist, and our deaths won't be of any use. Who's asking you people to kill? Su Jingxing replied coolly. Zhang Jun, Xiao Chengyu, Shen Qian, and Zhang Tianao were confused. Senior, are you saying that you'll fight and defeat everyone alone? In the corner, Yi Juchong, who had been silent all along, suddenly spoke up. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Everyone turned to look at him. Then, they quickly turned back and looked at Su Jingxing in shock. A single person to fight and defeat all the opponents. TS's. Everyone sucked in a cold breath of air when they thought of that scene. That's right. Su Jingxing took a look at Yi Juchong and said indifferently, I'll be the one to kill the Shi family. All of you are only responsible for stalling for time. This. Although it was quite a blow and also seemed rather cruel, they had to admit that their purpose of going on was indeed to stall for time so that Su Jingxing could get a break. This was what Su Jingxing had planned from the start. Su Jingxing didn't have this plan before, but after the Stone Annihilation Alliance contacted and revealed that they had many people, Su Jingxing then suddenly thought of such an opportunity to openly eliminate the Shi family. The Shi family had 100 years of legacy. It was too difficult for one person to destroy it alone. Whether it was a sneak attack or an assassination, there would always be flaws. However, the family clan duel that had been passed down since ancient times was a very good method. This was an open conspiracy. Even if the Shi family was aware, they had no choice but to accept the challenge. Once the application was made, if the other family clan refused to fight, not only would they become a laughingstock, they would also be looked down upon and viewed with hostility by everyone else. Others would join hands to suppress them. Morale, backbone, these things could not be seen or touched, but they really existed. Without these two, a clan would soon be devoured and eradicated. Of course, the application for the duel was not that simple either. Thanks for listening. The story continues shortly. This was read to you by Erebus.